Now we're looking at the locking mechanism options for the Glide frameless multi-slide. So here on this end we have a plunger lock. On this end we have our standard auto catch lock with a lever. So all you have to do is push that down and you see this spring-loaded mechanism automatically catches that panel in and secures it. This is also available with a lever on the other side, so that it has a lever on both sides. Whether you're outside or inside, you can activate that lock. On this side here, we have the plunger lock option. You see those panels move down and that plunger lock just goes down and locks into position, a little bit more secure of a lock. So a lever lock, a plunger lock, and then we have our optional patch fitting lock that I'm going to show you right now. Third option is the patch lock, which fits on the glass. It mounts in the glass and then it has a thumb turn to actually lock into the jamb profile. And now we're going to look at how to adjust the panels. Sometimes if the head sags and there's pressure on it, or you find the panels have come out of alignment, you may need to adjust the height of this panel, particularly right after you install. So both of these are parallel. All it is an Allen key or a hex key that inserts into the end, and you can turn clockwise or counterclockwise so it lifts this panel up and down, one on each side. So there's two sets of rollers, one on this side, one on the other side. You would do that to adjust it to get it perfectly balanced. Now we're going to look at a common adjustment often done at installation. Occasionally you may have to do it later on if a door doesn't close or latch properly. You can see we have a strike plate in our jamb profile, and to adjust that strike plate height, because that lock isn't catching properly, again we have an Allen key, loosen or tighten each of those, move it up and down until that lock catches properly. What we have here in our showroom is a 5-panel system. So 5 tracks, 5 individual panels. You start pulling on one with the handle that comes on every system, and then they just gather all the next panels. So this is 5 panels all going one way. We make this in a 5, a 4, a 3, or a 2 panel options. Naturally, the tracks are different dimensions for each of those. A good rule of thumb is about 1 inch wide for each panel. So a 5-track 5 inches, a 3-track 3 inches, etc. Also on this system, what you'll notice is this has our bottom lever system, our auto lock catch. Is the system still operates and opens from both sides, right? So you see we pulled it that way, but we can also store the panels on that side or use this as the entrance. There's always that flexibility. Even if somebody wanted to store the panels in the middle, whether that's for ventilation or traffic flow options. And this is the same on all different systems, a 3, 4, 5 track, and then of course you can store them all either way. And the system with our auto catch system just automatically locks into place. And then on this one over here we have our plunger lock system, a little bit more secure of a system. And that just locks in place and the systems are all locked. The glass that we use is always 10 millimeter or 3/8 of an inch thick, clear tempered glass. As you can see, it's also polished and beveled edges, so no risk of cutting. Tempered glass is extremely durable. We run into very few cases where we see any damage or breakage on the glass. Ceramics and metal objects, obviously on the edge, is your greatest threat to a piece of glass. If it breaks into all those tiny little pieces that are often far less harmful than large pieces of glass, and that's why by building code typically has to always be tempered glass. Now we're going to look at the different tracks and top tracks, bottom tracks and top tracks available for the Glide multi-slide. You see here, this is the standard bottom track. This is a 3-track. So a panel on each of the 3. It's about 3 inches wide. Here's a 4-track with 4 different ridges on it. Here becomes a 5-track. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Of course, those are also all available in the recess sill. So here you see the difference between a 5-track recess sill and a 5-track regular sill. Has these flanges on it, so if you're dropping it into an area, it hides any area where you may need to put some grout or some sealant. Of course, on the recess track, it also has an option. You could mount it on top of a surface, and the optional ramps available that can be added to both sides to even out that area, so it reduces any tripping hazard. And then here's the top tracks that correspond with each of those. So here is the 3-track that goes with the 3-track. You can see where your glass goes in between each of those tracks. There is a brush pile seal on each side to provide a nice smooth surface for that glass to travel. A 4-track and a 5-track.